Guys, today I am walking in El Bugre through a corn field and a yuca field. That's yuca, what you can see there, and that one over there is corn. I'm walking and walking. It's been a long walk through a lot of fields. I suppose that there are many families involved in this plantation. This is the loudest silence that you can hear. You can only listen to the birds and the sounds of nature. That's it. No more. After walking a lot, I got to the end of this road, but I gotta walk. Well, I gotta continue walking, so I just bend a little bit. I'm still flexible. I could get through it. And many people ask me the question, what's the correct way to learn English? What is the best way I can get through all the things I need to have a conversation with anyone? What do I need? What is the secret? What is the best step? What is the first step? And I'm going to tell you that there is an answer. What is the best step? The best step and the best strategy is your motivation, right? The reason to have clear the reason why you are learning this. Because if you start to learn a language, it's not like when you start cooking, right? You start to get the ingredients and okay, you go to the supermarket, you get what you need, right? You come to the kitchen, you chop the vegetables, you prepare everything. But like during this process, you feel like lazy, and then you say, "No, I better order something," and then you call the restaurant, and you get the food. What happens with this, with the ingredients? If you don't finish it, you will not have the food that you were trying to get. The same happens with the language. If you have the motivation and if you start, you need to get through the end, right? If you decided to start learning a language, you need to go until the end. What is the best strategy? The one that you use is the best, right? And if you want me to give you an advice, well, think about what's the way we learn how to speak Spanish. When you are born, what's the first thing to happen? You listen to, right? You listen to the doctor saying, "Oh, it's a beautiful boy," or "Such a scary boy. Look at that face." But the first thing you listen to is the doctor's words. I don't know. Maybe if your mom is not fainted, if she's conscious, you can hear her crying, "Oh, my son or my daughter." Then what happens? You continue listening, right? You listen to your mom talking about everything. You listen to all the members in your family talking to one another, and you can hear all the conversations. They think that you don't understand, but you got acquiring the vocabulary. After some time, you have some vocabulary in your mind, and your brain is developed enough to use it. And you start to say water, you start to say mom, you start to say dad, you say whatever. And then what happens? You start making more complicated sentences, and then you are talking. You're having a conversation with your parents. You start asking 1 million questions per minute. Okay, and then what happens? You go to school, they teach you the letters, A, B, C, A, E, I, O, U, and then you start to what? To read, right? But you have the sounds here, you have the words in your head, you only start to realize the way you have to copy those sounds. So that's the way you have to study English, right? Sometimes we focus and we get obsessed with grammar, and some students have a perfect grammar, right? If I ask them to order a sentence that is in disorder, they're gonna do it totally perfect. But when we start to have a conversation about anything, they got problems because They need to think about structures all the time. So I think that grammar is important, but it's not that important like learning vocabulary, because the more vocabulary, the more things you can express, and you don't need to use a perfect grammar to say that you want to drink water, right? You can use many other tools, like for example gestures. You can do this and say water, and you don't need to say, could you have please, are you gentle enough to give me a glass of water? Would you mind giving me a glass of water? Would you mind, would you be so gentle enough to give me? You don't need to say that, so that someone understands that you want to drink some water only with what the word water, right? So other thing is that you don't need to be afraid of talking. You need to be, you need to dare to talk with anyone about anything. I can express things without having a perfect grammar. Of course, as you start to acquire, to get the language, right, it's going to be easier for you to help you understand what is the best way or the correct way to use something. But how can I teach you the best way to play video games if you don't have a video game? How can I teach you how to ride a bike if you don't have a bike? So it's like that, right? Vocabulary and total motivation, because you need to study every day. I mean, if you want to learn a language, I don't know, in 6 months, I think that you have to study, I don't know, 7, 8, or 10 hours a day. But if you do other things like you work, you study, you have a family, you, I don't know, many other things that can be considered a distraction, you can divide the task into smaller tasks. For example, studying something like 1 hour or 30 minutes or 20 minutes a day, right? With the time, it's going to be a lot of time, right? But if you never do it, you never start it. If you're studying English, you should continue with it and never give up. Never give up. Never give up.